What's going on YouTube? Today I'm going to show you guys how to flip samples, specifically vocal samples. Make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Let's get right into the video. So when I'm looking for samples, I usually start on YouTube, Spotify, or something where I'm looking for a song with a good hook, something that I think is catchy and that I think is repeatable. So what I did, I was just listening to like Halsey, Adele type of songs, Ariana Grande, and I found this song by Halsey. Not gonna play it for any copyright strikes, but what I did is I just listened. I liked the hook, and then I went to a YouTube MP3, converted it to the MP3, got the MP3 and went to a YouTube to acapella extractor. That's so you can get the actual vocal sample, and then you drop the MP3 here, it extracts the vocal, and then I dragged in the vocal into FL Studio. Something you have to do so you actually know how to pitch the sample. I go to this website, I just look up song key and BPM, and it's tunebat.com. I look up the song and it's E flat minor, which is D sharp minor. It's the same thing, 165 BPM. So I know the vocal is already there. So if I pitch it up and pitch it down, I know what key to keep the sample in. So from there, I drag in the sample, chop it up to the hook part how I like it, and then I have it right here. I showed D sharp minor, that's just the key of the vocal. I pitch it up so it's in E. When you left, I bet you held a body closer. And then all I do is EQ it, something that's easy. I'll right click the presets and hit radio, and then I just widen it a little bit to where I like it. And then add a little bit of reverb to the vocal. So I know it's pitched up 1, so it's in E minor. I wanted to make a 4PF style loop. So what I did, I started with this piano and contact here and just made this simple pattern. Alright, so you see that's the same thing, just a 4-bar pattern. What really gets a piano is when you add the bass notes. So I didn't start on the root note. I started with the major. It's a 4, 5, 6 back to the 5 pattern. So add the bass notes in, and here's what it sounds like. Alright, so I had the bass line on my pattern. I know if I'm doing the verse, the main parts of the verse, that's going to be simple. I'm going to probably not have the vocal. I'm going to just have this bass line and the piano. Something I added for more of like a hook, I'm going to add a top line, and then I like to add like pad sounds, something that's just different. So I got this one shot. I believe it's from a Based one shot. It's called Moonlit Pad. So it just starts like this. I normalize it. And then here's what I did with the pad sound. So all I did is add a halftime to it, add some reverb, and EQ it. So all together with the vocal, the pad, the piano, and the bass line, here's what I got so far. Alright, so you see that's the first part of the loop I did there, but I like to have a top line also, just to switch things up. So in the second part of the loop, I take the pad out and add this top line. So here's what I did. It's simple, just a triplet pattern, but it keeps things interesting. So here's it by itself. And then add it in with all the rest of the sounds. Alright, So I like how that sounds. It doesn't interrupt the vocal too much. It's got its own space, and the vocal is in its own space as well. I don't want things too muddy, so that's why I don't have the pad in there too, because then there wouldn't be enough space for the pad and the vocal. The only other thing I add here is a bass line, and this is the Growler Moog bass line from Omnisphere. All I did is kept it simple. Something I like to do is add these notes, so it follows the bass notes, but I add a top because it'll like slide it. So here's what it sounds like all together. And you see on this second part, I just pitched the pad down. So the pad's pitched down on this one, and then on the first one it's pitched up. So it's 3 different elements to the loop. The vocal is 16 bars, gives enough things to use for the loop for a beat, and yeah, there you go. So that's exactly how I sample vocals into my loops. I'm gonna do a part 2, like I said, with more of like soul sample flips. Make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. I will see y'all in the next one.